Hi, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Kamusta po ang weekend ninyo? Sana okay na, no? Ako po ulit si Teacher Therese. So ipagpapatuloy ko po yung talk last Thursday. Diba ang topic ko po ay Kindness Matters, Pursuing Active Citizenship in Home-Based Learning. So, sisimulan ko na. Okay. Sandali ah. So medyo makikita nyo lahat ng aking slides. But that's fine. Diba last time, I showed you this particular illustration, well, trying to explain and helping each one of us, have a sense of it, what active citizenship is. Active citizenship is rooted in three very important ingredients, and those are power, imagination, and character. And we said in the talk last Thursday that active citizenship is actually everyday kindness. And let us review again those concepts. So we have this definition of what active citizenship is. It's people working individually or together to achieve change that will benefit society. Or they may be resisting unwanted change. Last Thursday, sabi nga natin, ang active citizen ay yung tao na pumupuno ng kakulangan sa lipunan. So kapag may problema, pumupuno siya. At sabi nga natin dati, napakaraming problema na pwedeng punuan. Sabi rin natin na active citizenship, ito yung sinabi ko na kanina, fueled by three things: power, imagination, and character. Diba? Power, that ability to do something and to get somebody to do it also, to do something. Imagination is going beyond what is possible. It's expanding what you think is possible. And character. Character is that compass within us that tells us if we're going towards the right direction or not. So it's very important that when we think about these three concepts, that we think about them in terms of contextualization. They need to be contextualized. You need to find real life examples. And today's society, the things that are going on here in the Philippines are real good examples that we can use in our classes. For example, like last time, we talked about power, and that we said that power is a gift. It is something that each one of us has, and it's something that we give to someone when we vote for that person. And so that means when you vote for someone, it's your power that you're giving to that person, because that person will represent you, will represent your interests. And so, because that is how important that process is, voter education is very important. That's something that maybe we can focus on this particular school year, especially among our students who are, come May 2022, will be joining the public who will be voting. Oh, by the way, I checked the COMELEC website this weekend, and I found that even if you wanted to register to vote in 2022, in May 2022, you need to wait until after August 31st because of COVID, they've decided to postpone the registration or to halt the registration process and to continue after August 31. So let's watch out for that. Because we might even have to bring our children, diba? Kung boboto rin sila. So, nagsimula na pala. Nagsimula na ang pagre-rehistro na antala lang dahil nga dito sa COVID. Pero magpapatuloy pa yan. At saka yung mga bata, halimbawa, 17 pa lang sila. So, kasi siyempre dapat 18 na sila pagboboto. Makakarehistro lang sila a year before the election. This 2021 pa yan. Pero may mga anak tayo, may mga estudyante tayo na malamang 18 na. So, pwedeng-pwede na isama talaga itong voter education sa ating curriculum ngayong school year na ito. Sabi natin last time na ang power at imagination ay talagang tandem. Tandem siya na makakaproduce ng isang worthy leader at isa ring psychopath. Kaya nangangailangan ng character. Binabalanse ng character ang power and imagination para maging mas maayos ang paggamit natin ng ating faculties para maging active citizens. So, pwede nating mag-infuse, pwede nating ilagay itong mga lessons na ito sa iba't ibang subject areas, hindi lang sa arining panlipunan, hindi lang sa edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, kundi kahit sa math, sa science, sa English, sa Filipino, at sa iba't iba pang sa HELE, may HELE pa ba? TLE, lahat ng mga subjects na yan, pati sa MAPE, pwede nating isama ang mga key concepts na ito. So ngayong araw na ito, ngayong webinar na ito, gusto kong bigyan ng pansin yung acting together. Kasi nga naman, pag pinag-usapan ng active citizenship, kahit na pwede ka naman na maging mag-isa, ang expression ng action na yan ay para sa komunidad. Kaya hindi mo maiiwasan, kahit ayaw mo ng tao, na talagang mare-require tayo na magsama-sama, magtrabahong sama-sama. At ang topic natin ngayon ay paano ba natin maa-achieve ito? Paano natin maituturo ang pagsasama-sama? So, importante ang salitang collaboration. Di ba, ito nga, ang dictionary meaning ng collaboration. The action of working with someone to produce or create something. Di ba ang ganda? Sa workplaces, sinasabi natin, gusto natin ng collaboration. Sinasabi natin na 21st century skill yan, transversal skill, na kailangan makuha at ma-develop sa ating mga estudyante. Pero paano mo tinuturo ang collaboration? At kalimitan, kahit dun sa mga na-interview namin na teachers dati, nung tinitingnan namin kung kasama ba ang transversal skills or 21st century skills sa ating curriculum, sinasabi nila nakasama naman daw ito. At ito ay nangyayari sa group work. Pero last semester, in my EDSP 207 class, so we were just a small class, and we were talking about how we felt about group work. I mean, seriously, none of us felt good about group work. Importante na maisip at importante na maintindihan natin, group work should not lead to group hate. So minsan sa graduate school, minsan kahit sa high school, maririnig nyo yung mga anak ninyo na nagko-complain. Nagko-complain dahil sa group work. Dahil hindi nagkakaintindihan, nag-aaway-away, at minsan nagugulat ako, yung pag-aaway-away na yan, akala ko sa maliliit na bata, kahit pala sa mga malalaking estudyante, kahit na nasa graduate school, magtataka ka nga kung bakit. Why would group work lead to group hate? That typically happens when the parameters for group work are not spelled out and laid out well. So, importante talaga na kapag group work, klarong-klaro ang expectations sa lahat. Otherwise, magiging group hate yan. So, tips. Anong gagawin natin para maging successful tayo sa mga group work natin and ultimately maging successful sa pagtuturo ng collaboration na kailangan natin sa active citizenship? Una, keep the group small. Ang typical Filipino class, napakalaki. Malaki talaga. At minsan nagkakaroon ng mga estudyante, 10 sa isang grupo, 12 sa isang grupo. Ay nako, walang mangyayari pag ganyan kalaki ang iyong grupo. Kaya ano ang ating gagawin? Una, keep the group small. 3 to 4 members lang para siguradong lahat ay may ginagawa. Kasi kapag marami na, may gagawa at may mga tao, mas maraming tao na hindi gagawa. Ayaw mo nun. As a teacher, Ayaw din natin yan as parents. No? Susunod, kailangan clear tasks. Minsan, at ako naging guilty rin ako dito noon, o sige, maggrupo-grupo kayo. Maggrupo-grupo kayo. Hanapin natin ang sagot sa tanong na ito. Pero, wala namang clear delineation of tasks and responsibilities. So, anong nangyari? Ang pinakamasipag, siya ang gumawa ng group report. Siya ang gumawa ng lahat. Ano ang nangyari sa iba? Sumama. Naisulat ang pangalan sa group report, pero hindi talaga tumulong. May mga ibang nagkasamaan ng loob, umiyak, nag-away-away. At yan ay, minsan parang madaling isipin, ay kasi kayo, hindi kayo nag-organisa. Seriously, organizing that group is the task of the teacher. We need to set clear parameters for engaging with each other, clear tasks, clear responsibilities. So, importante yan ha, clear tasks. At maganda rin na tayo na yung nag-a-assign ng grupo. Alam mo, there's something good about having random groups. Bakit? Kapag pinabayaan natin ang mga estudyante na pumili lagi ng kanilang grupo, pansinin ninyo, yung grupo na yan, pare-pareho, hindi yan mag-iiba. Diretso, mula sa simula ng school year hanggang dulo ng school year, sila-sila pa rin ang magkakasama. Maganda yon kasi mas komportable na sila, pero in terms of making sure that they work, medyo mas mahirap na rin yon kasi sobrang komportable na nila. At nami-miss out nila yung opportunity na makilala pa nila yung iba nilang classmates. Yung iba pa nilang classmates na meron ding ibang personalidad, ibang ideas, na makakatulong yon sa paggawa ng proyekto at makakatulong personally sa bawat isa sa kanila. Kasi ibang pananaw na naman yon, ibang pananaw na matcha-challenge yung sarili nilang pananaw. Kaya mahirap yung grupo na yun at yun at yun. Kasi while maganda, siguro dahil mas madali sila magtrabaho, gamay na nila kung paano magtrabaho, ang hindi okay doon, hindi na natcha-challenge ang kanilang isip at pati na rin ang kanilang puso kung papaano tumanggap ng mga tao na iba sa kanila. So, importante na paminsan-minsan papipiliin sila ng grupo nila, pero lagi rin tayo dapat may opportunities na tayo bilang teachers ay randomly mag-a-assign ng mga estudyante sa grupo. Importante ang pagtuturo kung paano makinig, kung paano magbigay ng feedback, kung paano pumuna. At isa sa mga pinakamagandang example na nakita ko dito ay sa mga batang maliliit. Austin's Butterfly. Alalahanin niyo ang Austin's Butterfly, mahahanap niyo siya sa YouTube. Ano ang meron sa Austin's Butterfly? So ito ay kwento ng isang bata na binigyan ng task, drawing task, tapos ginamitan ng positive feedback and critique hanggang nagawa niya ng maganda. Hanapin niyo siya. So nasa YouTube siya, maiksi lang yan. 6 minutes. Naisip ko nga na ipakita ngayon, pero baka aakas ng oras talaga. Pero papakita ko sa inyo yung mga drawing niya. Okay? Yung pinili niyang drawing, yan yung nasa likod. Yung malaking butterfly na nasa parang backdrop niya. Yan yung original na drawing na pinili ni Austin. So, nung sinabi na, sige, i-drawing niya. So, medyo ambisyoso ang ating si Austin. So, wow. So, it was like a huge butterfly, a yellow butterfly that he wanted to draw. But when he drew it, look at what he drew. So, di ba? Pero ang cute naman nung na-draw niya, di ba? Hindi nga lang katulad ng picture na kinuha niya. Pero pansinin ninyo yung draft number 2 niya at yung draft number 3, tingnan nyo rin yung draft number 4, draft number 5, at draft number 6. Di ba winner na siya by draft number 6? You know, how did that happen? This very interesting study by Ron Berger talks about how to critique. And let me share with you the rules that Ron Berger shared. Rule number 1, be kind. Rule number 2, be specific. Rule number 3, be helpful. Hindi okay ang nang-o-okray. Well, pwede kang mang-okray, pero may parameters yan. At malamang, mapipigilan ang ating mga sasabihin pag nakita mo tong 3 rules na to. Pwedeng-pwede na pinagalitan ng teacher si Austin nung ginawa niya ang drawing na ito. Pwedeng-pwede rin na criticize siya ng classmate niya, ano ba naman yan? Pero alam nyo, dahil si teacher, meron clear parameters on how to critique. Hindi nangyari yan kay Austin. So anong ginawa nila? They were kind to Austin. They looked for something good to say about his drawing. So parang cute naman yung butterfly na yan. So it has all the parts of the butterfly. But then, hindi naman inuuto mo si Austin. Pero pag kinompare mo yung original at yung kanyang drawing, alam mo na malayo pa yung kanyang tatahakin para maging katulad ng original. So, kailangan yung rule number 2, be specific. So, paano nga ba mag-i-improve si Austin? So, sasabihin ng classmates niya, ang cute nito sa video kasi ang mga nagsasabi, yung mga bata. Hindi yung mga matatanda, yung mga bata ang nagsasabi. So, okay, so if this was Austin's plan and this was the original, so what does he need to do? So sinabi na ng classmate, dapat medyo may kanto yung mga pakpak niyang butterfly na yan. Hindi siya bilog. Tapos yung sa ibaba, mas matulis siya. So gumawa siya ng second draft. Pinakita ulit sa classmates. Ganun din. So may mga tinitingnan sa drawing number 3, drawing number 4, pero ganun ang intention talaga. Be kind. Be specific. Be, helpful. So, nagbigay sila ng suggestions paano mai-improve ni Austin yung drawing niya. Halimbawa, from drawing number 4 to drawing number 5, so makikita ninyo na wala pa yung stripes. So, sinabi ng classmate, para maging katulad ng original, baka dapat lalagyan mo na siya ng stripes. And look at the finished product. The finished product looks almost like the original. And Austin was able to produce that through helpful critique. So, remember, this doesn't just apply for children, for students. This applies to us. When you see a co-faculty, a co-teacher, your teacher, if you're a principal or an administrator, there's no point in being negative. You can do and achieve much if you remember the 3 rules of critique. Be kind, be specific, be helpful. So maraming salamat, Ron Berger, for your help. Okay. Medyo pahinga muna tayo ng konti. Inat-inat ng konti. Maybe you can do shoulder rolls, stretch your arms. Okay pa tayo? Okay. So as I've said, this particular talk will focus more on the acting together. Acting together. And we can act together if we collaborate. And we can collaborate and we can learn the skills for collaboration if we teachers will structure group work activities in such a way that children, our students, benefit from it because we have established clear tasks with small groups and that we have taught our students to communicate, how to listen, how to give feedback. Remember that. And so, let's make collaboration fun and painless. So, sana hindi na natin maiisip na pag sinabi, okay, group work tayo. And then everybody cringes, oh my Lord, group work again. So, let's make group work fun by remembering those tips. Okay, so balik ulit tayo dito. This is like our anchor. So, kindness matters. And within it, we have situated active citizenship. Kindness matters. Well, it is. It sure is important. So we said again, and I would have to do this just to review. And I'm using again the illustration made by teacher Darlene Echevilla. That active citizenship has 3 ingredients which we liken to the sun, water, and nutrients from the soil. Power, imagination, and character will grow in our children, will grow the seed of active citizenship in our children. Okay? So remember that. Next, we said last time that active citizenship is everyday kindness. Alam mo, simple lang yung definition na yan. And I'm pretty sure if you're a political science major, if you're a social studies major, you'll have your own definition of what active citizenship is. But to keep it simple, at sabi ko nga lagi, ang punto, the point is, active citizenship in its most basic form is everyday kindness. And so, we need to lay the groundwork for it as parents at home. We need to lay the groundwork for it, the foundation for it in schools, in our districts, in our divisions, in our regions. We need to lay the groundwork for it. And what we need to establish is an inclusive environment. Inclusive environment. This particular triangle that you're seeing right now came from Booth and Ainscow in their book entitled Index for Inclusion. This book is also available for download online. Hanapin nyo lang. And it's a very good material in checking if your school has what it takes to be inclusive. Ang sabi nga nila, ano nga ba yung pag sinabing inclusive? Simple definition, kasama, sinasama ang lahat. Walang tinatangi, walang binibigyan ng pribilehyo, at wala ring isinasantabi. So we don't privilege, we do not oppress, but we take into consideration everyone. Ang sabi ni Booth and Ainscow, paano ba gagawin yon? Una daw, dapat inclusive cultures ang meron tayo. We need to create inclusive cultures. And our policies, the policies that we produce, need to be inclusive too. As well as our practices, we need to be evolving inclusive practices. So our challenge, if we are to pursue active citizenship goals at home, in school, whether it be learning in remote or learning in face-to-face, we need to build an inclusive community. The book of Booth and Ainscow present many questions, some of which I will ask you now, just to give you a sense of what they mean by what it is to be inclusive. O sige, so you will answer yes or no, okay? So, claro, I will ask you questions, you will answer yes and no. And the context is your school. The context is your school. If it's not your school, and if you're a parent watching this, then the context is your home. Okay? Number 1. Is the first contact that people have with your school welcoming? Ang ibig lang sabihin nito, Kapag ba may tumawag sa school nyo, yung sumasagot ay welcoming ang boses o mataray ang boses? Meron ba siyang pinagdadaanan? Kung meron, huwag pa sasagutin ng telepono. Because the first contact that people have of your school, whether it be face-to-face contact when they enter your school, or when someone picks up the phone and answers that call, takes that call, will determine now how a person will think about your school. Kaya kapag may pinagdadaanan, you let your administrator know. If you will not sound as welcoming as possible, or if you will not look as welcoming as possible because of what you're going through, I think you need to let your administrator know. Isa yan. Pero syempre, dahil tayo naman ay responsible adults, we need to be able to compartmentalize. But I know that's so difficult to do. Kailangan i-compartmentalize. Wala dapat nahahagingan ng ating mga issues. Kawawa naman sila. So, an inclusive environment is very welcoming at first contact. Okay? So, remember that. Second, do children and families create a sense of community in your school? Do they create a sense of community in your school? Anong sagot niyo doon? Yes or no? Next. In your school, do you welcome all types of children, whether they are rich, poor, middle class? Do you welcome children with various family arrangements? Single parent families, LGBTQ families, absentee parent families, and so you have lolos and lolas taking care of them. Families with different ethnicities, families with children with disabilities. Do you welcome children with disabilities in your school? Sabi nga natin last time, this is the diversity wheel. And we need to take a serious look at our school and look at how it is able to address diversity in society. We do that not because, we do that not because diversity is the in thing. We do that because we know that our ability to empathize with the different characteristics of people will allow us to become active citizens. Now, ito naman tayo. Rate your school. Give your school a 1. That 1 means really low. And then give your school a 5 if your school is actively doing this. And if you can see this in your school. Staff cooperate. As in talaga nagko-cooperate. I mean, and the good thing is, if you notice the word, it's cooperate. And so, if you run a school, you know that they're working together to run the school. So, it's not the show of just 1 or 2 people, the show of just one group, but it's the whole staff that operate together. Do you see that in your school? Do you see that among the children in your school? Do they help each other? Do they respect each other, your staff and the students in the school? Do staff and parents collaborate? Parang other than PTA, Parent-Teacher Association, are there other occasions where they collaborate? Do staff and administration work well together? So important yan. Importante yan. Tapos minsan siguro nagtataka kayo, akala ko ba inclusion ang sinasabi mo? Yes, because inclusion is not just disability, and that's the difficult thing about thinking about inclusive education and thinking that it's always about disability. Inclusion is about diversity. Inclusion is about people, different types of people working together, working harmoniously. And so, ano ang score ng school mo? Naka-25 ba ang school mo? O naka-5? What do you think? So, pagganahin natin ang ating math abilities, hindi, arithmetic. So, if we were to add, what will be your score based on this slide? A 25 or a 1? Or maybe a 15 if you think that you're somewhere there in the middle. Okay, so let me continue on with questions. Okay. Do staff create a culture of collaboration for everyone in the school? Oo. As in, kasi di ba, ang kultura talaga ng collaboration, minsan naisip natin dun lang sa classroom natin, sa group work natin, but it's seriously for everybody in the school. Is that how we think about how to operate the school? Because collaboration is really the key. Collaboration is also the key so that you can establish ownership. Hindi pwedeng dinidikta. Talagang collaboration. By the way, one thing with collaboration, matagal. Kaya nga minsan pag nagmamadali, ang hirap mag-collaborate. And so even in our classes, when there are tasks that need to be rushed, group work may not be the best thing to do. Yun. So, yun lang a word of caution. Next. Sorry, babalikan ko. Do staff feel valued and supported? Minsan naisip natin, we want to be inclusive. So we think about the children, how they feel in our school. Seriously, if you want your children, your students, to feel that way in your school, your staff need to be the first people to feel that. Kaya hindi ko alam. Yes ba ang answer nyo doon or no? Do the staff in your school feel valued or supported? And maybe if we were to put this in a more personal level, do you feel valued or supported in your school? Feeling mo ba importante ka sa school mo? Binibigyan ka ba ng importansya ng eskwelahan mo? Parte yan ng inclusion. At parte yan ng building a community. Now, part of building a community is really increasing risk-taking behavior in terms of voicing disagreement. Halimbawa, merong nagbigay ng isang grand idea. Komportable ba ang staff na sabihin na, hindi ako umaayon doon. Parang hindi yata maganda yan. Siyempre may parameters, no? We want to do it in a more respectful manner. We need to do it in a respectful manner. However, if you were to rate your school and your staff in terms of their comfort in telling you that they disagree with you, how comfortable are they? Do we take disagreement personally? So, because sometimes I think we need to understand that when people disagree, it has nothing to do with your person. It has something to do with the idea that you broached, that you introduced. But it's difficult, and I guess it does take control to be able to distinguish comments given to an idea as against comments that you think are given towards your person. So, importante talaga yon na nadidistinguish natin yan, especially as administrators. Because staff need to feel, if the staff are co-operators, CO-operators, then lahat tayo, hila-hila natin yung school. Kung bangka, lahat tayo sumasagwan. Kaya hindi pwedeng iba-iba ang direksyon ng sagwan. And so, we need to be communicating with each other. And if needed, if we need to disagree, how comfortable are we to disagree with each other? Or do we just keep quiet and wait until good things happen? So, let's wait and see. Pag-isipan, di ba? How comfortable are your staff in terms of asking advice? Di ba? When there is so much critique in an environment, and when it is a hostile environment, not a caring environment, people would be so afraid to ask for help. But in terms of asking for help, how does your school rate in this particular question? Would the staff in your school or would people in your home be comfortable to say that they don't know and that they need help? So how comfortable are they? Now, when we look at our children, do we see children sharing rather than competing? Diba? And I would just have to say this also. Buti na lang nawala na yung rule, yung ginagawa dati. You know, when I was a basic education teacher, uso pa po yung ranking. Tapos, alam niyo po, kahit sa 100th level, di ba syempre may mga grades, diba, 90.01 as against 90, aba, di yun si may 0.01, mas nauna kay 90. We had a system before where we would just lump people together kasi nga we didn't want that. But you know, parents really wanted to know how their children were faring in class. They wanted to see the grades. You know, that particular system worked against sharing. What it did was to parang push, was to espouse that spirit of competition. Kasi in a way, competition is good, di ba? It spurs you to do better. But the best kind of competition is competition with yourself. I remember, because I really didn't want children to be comparing, especially pag di ba may mga games, tas nagtatara kayo sa blackboard. Ano yung mga score nila? You are a winner if the second group score is higher than the first group score. It was never about group A score being higher than group B score or group C score. We never did it that way. So you are a winner if your second score is higher than your first score, because you compete with yourself. And we did that because we wanted our children to share rather than compete. When children in your school see other children not playing, do they spend time seeking out that person who has no one to eat with, no one to talk to, no one to play with? Or pinapabayaan lang natin siya na mag-isa na lang doon? Alam natin na inclusive ang ating school kapag yung mga bata tumutulong sa iba. Pag may nakikita na, ay bakit parang wala kang kausap, pupuntahan. But you know, that requires power. That requires imagination. And that requires character. Next. Do we teach our children how to resolve disputes that arise between them? Kapag nag-aaway-away ang mga bata, tinuturuan ba natin sila kung paano ayusin ang isang away, kung paano makinig sa iba't ibang panig at maisip, matingnan ang isang issue mula sa perspektibo ng isa? So, ano naman yan? Two-way. Hindi yan one-way na perspektibo lang niya. Kung hindi, perspektibo nating lahat. Or, when somebody is being bullied, do our children speak up? Do we do they speak up when someone is being treated unfairly? Or do they just keep quiet? Worst case pa, sila pa yun ang bubuli. Sana hindi ganun, ano? So, going back again to parents and staff, do they respect each other? Kaya mahirap o mayaman? O nakikita ba ng magulang at nakikita ng staff ang pag-iiba ng pagtrato kapag mayaman o mahirap na? Pag tinanong natin yung mga magulang, ano kaya ang isasagot nila sa tanong na ito? Do all parents feel that their children are valued by the school? Kapag tinanong ang gulang ng isang bata na naka-enroll sa iyong paaralan, ano kaya ang sasabihin niya? Oo, ang pinapangalagaan ng eskwelahan ng aking anak. Pinapahalagahan ng eskwelahan ng aking anak. At nakikita ko iyon sa iba't ibang ginagawa nila, sa mga guidelines nila, etc. Ano kaya ang sagot ng mga magulang kapag tinanong natin sila nitong tanong na ito? Na-appreciate ba ng staff or hindi? Na-appreciate ba ng magulang ang ginagawa ng staff? Di ba minsan, sa school kasi, laging star either yung teacher or yung student. No? But sometimes the staff who make things happen for us, without whom we would be really helpless, do they feel appreciated too? Do parents appreciate them? Na-appreciate ba natin si Manong Guard? Na-appreciate ba natin ang receptionist? Na-appreciate ba natin ang staff na tumutulong sa atin, learning support staff? Na-appreciate ba sila? Tapos ito, I think ito na yung aking huli dito. Kasi minsan, naging teacher din ako. Para sa akin, isa sa mga stressful events ay ang PTC, ang Parent-Teacher Conference. Stressful siya. Hindi naman ako natatakot dun sa magulang. Pero talagang ramdam ko yon. Ramdam ko talaga yung stress. Siguro ikaw din, nararamdaman mo yan. Kaya alam mo, ang wish ko noon, nung nagtuturo pa ako sa basic ed, na sana umabot ako sa punto na komportable akong nakikipag-usap sa mga magulang. Na komportable ako na nakikipag-usap sa kanila, hindi para mag-complain ng anak nila, hindi para manghingi ng donation sa aming classroom, kung hindi para lang talaga makipag-usap sa kanila bilang tao, bilang magulang ng aking mga estudyante. So, yes ba ang sagot? Di ba okay ito eh? Okay ang staff kapag yes ang sagot nila. Kasi ibig sabihin, naghahanap sila ng iba't ibang opportunities. And when I say staff here, I also refer to teachers. They look for opportunities to talk to parents, not just during, for example, disciplinary meetings. Talagang nag-uusap tayo kahit na walang kailangan. So, isipin ulit natin, ilan ba ang yes at no nyo dyan? Mas marami ba kayong yes o mas marami ba kayong no? Mas marami ba kayong 5 or mas marami ba kayong 1? Kapag mas marami ang yes mo, ibig sabihin talagang papunta ang school mo sa pagiging inclusive, building an inclusive community. Yan. At kung ang mas nakararami naman ay no, siguro maiging i-download yung libro na Index for Inclusion at gamitin ito para sa reflection. Mag-isip-isip tayo. Again, sinasabi natin, it is important to lay the groundwork for active citizenship. And active citizenship thrives in inclusive communities. Inclusive communities produce active citizens. Yan. Again, inclusive communities produce active citizens. Because in inclusive communities, nananaig dyan ang kindness. Kahit iba-iba pa, kahit iba-iba ang level sa lipunan, kahit iba-iba ang abilidad, kahit iba-iba pa ang gender orientation, kahit na ano pa. Inclusive communities produce active citizens. Now, okay, administrators. Okay, so take note, makinig po tayo. Alam niyo po, sa mga pag-aaral na nakita namin tungkol sa mga inclusive schools, at ito yung inclusive schools na hindi na tumatanggap, let's say, ng mga bata na may mga kapansanan, mga batang may mga, iba sila sa ibang bata. Tinignan din namin yung mga schools na kayang mag-accept ng iba't ibang klaseng relihiyon. Schools na iba't ibang, basta yung iba't ibang characteristics. Nakita namin na ang administrator pala ang talagang nagsiset ng tone. Kumbaga siya yung kumukumpas. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na sila ang dahilan kaya inclusive or sila ang dahilan kaya hindi inclusive. Kung ako ay administrator, ang una kong sasabihin, ako ang dahilan kapag ang isang school ay inclusive. Because I really set the tone. I am the conductor of my school. I'm the conductor of my home if I'm a parent. So, the degree to which my home, my school is inclusive, I set that. And it is my responsibility to set that as an administrator. So going back to Teacher Darlene's illustration plus animation, for active citizenship to grow in the soil of inclusive environments, you need students, teachers, staff, families. And when I say staff, I'm including you, the administrator. We need to really work together to nurture the seed of active citizenship among our children. So when our children grow up, or maybe some of your children are already doing this because, we've seen on TV how proactive many children are and how empowered they are in terms of helping others. But maybe if this is a picture of the future, we don't really know what our children's expression of active citizenship would be. Will it be helping with a relief drive? Helping people who are being evacuated? Will our children help in cleanup drives and taking care of the environment? Or will our children join protests? The expressions, again, as I've said last time, are very different and they are very diverse. And one expression is not better than another. They are all expressions of care towards our society. They are all expressions of care because we want society to improve. We want it to be better. And so, our school, our home, our community, they all lay the groundwork for active citizenship. And it is our sense of community that will nurture it. So we who have the power in our communities, the power in the home, the power in our school, or the power in our barangay even, or wherever, it is that sense of community. And by the way, the sign for community in sign language is this. Ito. Diba? Magkasama na umiikot. It is our sense of community that nurtures active citizenship. So, let's mind our schools. Let's take care of our homes. Let's make sure that it nurtures active citizenship. Maraming salamat po. And I think it's now time for me to answer some questions that were raised by the audience. Okay. Ayan. Sandali So, magsa-stop share na po ako. So, makikita nyo na naman aking mukha. Ay, susme. Oh, by the way, seriously, last time we were figuring, why do you look better now than, in other videos? Tapos naisip namin, wow, it must be ring light. That is the key. But I also found that here in Zoom, there is a feature that says enhance features. So what you are seeing right now is an effect of ring light and Zoom's enhanced feature capability. So, okay. So let me answer our questions now. Okay, from Maria Dolores Carino. Paano po kung ang mga magulang ang laging andyan upang mag-handle ng klase mo na akala mo siya na ang teacher? Bakit nagkaganon? Sandali Minsan lang umabsent siya, si parent na ang nagturo sa klase mo. Okay lang ba yun? Ano ang magiging impact nito sa mga bata? Naku po. So, si Ma'am Carino. So, ang kwento, nag-absent, tama ba to ang intindi ko? Nag-absent minsan si teacher, tapos walang sub, so si parent ang nag-sub, at mula nun, lagi na siyang nandyan at nakabantay sa'yo. So maybe I should just talk to parents first. Thank you parents for being very proactive, for being very helpful. Pero seryoso, sa ibang bansa, hindi ka pwedeng mag-volunteer sa klase ng anak mo. Pwede kang mag-volunteer sa klase ng iba, pero hindi pwede sa klase ng anak mo. Una, dahil talaga namang may conflict of interest, syempre naman, gusto natin yung interest ng ating mga anak. Okay. So kaya, paano inaayos ang gantong problema? Ang schools, meron talaga dapat sistema para sa substitution. Kapag nag-absent ang isang teacher, di ba kasi naman talaga, wala naman talaga tayo mga substitute teacher positions. Kaya as administrators, maghahanap ka ng mga paraan kung paano magkakaroon ng substitute teacher. Sa ibang eskwelahan na mga napuntahan ko, dahil meron din namang mga tao na nag-iipon ng volunteer experience, number of hours, sila yung nagiging volunteer para nagsasubstitute para do sa teacher na nag-absent. So, yun ang nangyayari doon. Kung talagang parents ang volunteers, hindi po sila pinapa-volunteer sa mga klase ng mga anak nila. Sila po ay pinapa-volunteer sa klase ng iba para maiwasan po ang mga ganitong pagkakataon na kinikwento ni Ma'am Carino. Kasi sa totoo lang po, kahit po kami na nasa universidad, hirap na hirap po kami kapag meron pong nag-o-observe. Naiintindihan po namin yung hirap na dinadanas ng isang teacher na ino-observe ng supervisor niya, ng principal niya, or kapag, halimbawa, kasi sa amin, let's say sa UP, may mga international visitors, gusto daw nilang makita paano yung mga klase namin, so uupo sila doon. Kahit wala naman silang ibang ginagawa, kung hindi umupo, hindi talaga komportable. Kaya, siguro dapat paintindihan ng mga magulang na hindi komportable kapag ikaw ay nandoon sa classroom na nakabantay. Maganda ang inyong intensyon na siguraduhin na kapag nangailangan si teacher ng tulong, ay nandun ka, okay yon. Pero uulitin ko, sa ibang klase, wag po sa klase ng inyong anak. Kaya mahirap din kapag pinagpipit against each other yung teacher at parent. Unang-una, ang teacher ay may sarili niyang power. Si parent ay may sarili rin niyang power. Gamitin po natin ang mga power na to at wag po natin gamitin ang isa't isa. Halimbawa, may mga parents natatakot na, well, siguro hindi nila malaman kung paano nila didisiplinahin ng anak nila. Ang sasabihin, isusumbong kita kay teacher. Kasi ang lumalabas, parent has no power, teacher has power, and so teacher will deal with you. Pero hindi maganda yon. As parents, let's deal with our children. Kaya hindi rin maganda kapag sa harap ng bata, nagko-compete for power or yung parent and teacher. So hindi natin gusto yan. Kaya isipin na lang natin na bawat isa sa atin ay may lugar. Okay. At yan ay isang bagay na administrator dapat ang nag-aayos. Okay. From Queenie Tan, how can we facilitate staff from not being too shy to voice out their concerns during a meeting and avoid just talking about it with the person beside them? Okay. You know, I was able to find one exercise on Zoom that would deal with this issue. Since puro Zoom naman ang meeting natin. Each person is given 40 seconds to blurt out whatever he or she has in his or her mind. Talagang inoorasan. So, para walang oras na masyadong paghandaan. Bakit natin ayaw ang masyadong paghahanda? Kasi di ba, pag masyado tayong naghahanda, when we prepare too much, you know, we tend to sanitize our comments. But then as administrators, for example, I need to hear your honest comment. But sometimes people think that if they're being honest, even if they're respectful, that I am vengeful, that I will take it against them. And so when I was, so for those who are in positions of power, you need to be able to tell them that straight. And what do you, like when we have staff meetings, like in the research center at ACT-RC, we really ask each one of them, what do you think about this issue? As in, ako na yon, isi-seek out ko. Because among our staff, we have people who would really tell you what they think, even if you don't ask them. May ganon. At meron din namang staff na hindi magsasalita. So it is now dependent on me, it's incumbent on me that I would ask that question. And I would ask each one of them, what do you think about this issue? Especially if it's an issue where he or she has expertise, where we as a center, we are all affected by some decisions. You know, as an administrator, wala akong ilusyon na alam ko ang lahat ng bagay. Kaya nga may staff para tulungan ako na maintindihan ko. You know, your staff expands what you know. Teacher Therese by herself is limited. But it's the staff, it's my co-faculty who expand whatever limitations I have. Sinasalo nila yung limitations na meron ako. And so, dahil alam ko na may mga limitations ako as an administrator, as a director, then I create opportunities for people to participate. Okay? Kasi, pag walang ganyang opportunities, natural na mayroong magsasalita sa katabi. Kahit nga sa Zoom, di ba? Actually, late ko nalaman na meron palang chat na private. So minsan, kapag may meetings, instead of asking the entire group the question, sometimes you just chat with someone privately. And so, parang, syempre, medyo counterproductive na yon minsan. And so, I think it's important that we create opportunities for people to voice out their thoughts by directly asking them, what do you think about this? And by making time. So if you have a big organization, then I suggest that, well, and if you're saying that it's impossible to give each and every person the opportunity to voice out his or her thoughts, some people have used the 40-second game. It's not even the 1-minute game. Say what's on your mind. Halimbawa, naisip nyo, ay, Teacher Therese, stop na, ang tagal mo na nagsasalita. Or, so basta kung ano yung maisip niya, within that 40 seconds, sasabihin niya, and then go to the next person. So, ginagawa yun ng mabilis. And this is what people do on Zoom to get a sense of what is honestly in people's minds. 40 seconds. Tapos, ano yon, tumatalon-talon yon. Hindi yun, pero syempre, no, pag malaki yung grupo, mapalad yon. Kasi ang daming 40 seconds na nakapractice siya. Shucks, meron palang loophole yung game na yan. Okay. From Chermi AP or Chermi app, what if the problem in the school is the school head? Natawa naman ako doon. Always left behind the teachers with the updates or some reports to be submitted. You can't ask the school head because he is nowhere to be found or unreachable. Diba? Dapat magsagwan together for the improvement of the school. I agree. But teachers have no school head that will lead them. It's a sad scenario in the school. Ay, talagang sad. Talagang sad. Kapag hindi, sa tingin ko nito, I mean, ang school head, okay, so let's give the school head the benefit of the doubt. Sana mabilis ang internet connection ni ma'am o ni sir para ma-download niya lahat ng order na ibinaba at lahat ng guidelines. Sana rin, medyo techy na si ma'am dahil sa Marso pa tayo practice nitong mga kaka-Zoom natin at kaka-check ng email kasi bawal nga ang face-to-face, na pwede na niyang i-check ang kanyang email na mas madalas. At pwede rin niyang tingnan ang kanyang Facebook Messenger. Diba? So, baka naman baka mahina ang connectivity kina ma'am. Kasi sabi nga ni Director Garma, nung isa naming meeting, maayos naman ang sweldo na pag-administrators. So, ibig sabihin, kakayanin na nilang bumili ng load. Kaya malamang baka connectivity yan. So, that's just to put it lightly. Pero seriously, a school head needs to lead, di ba? Kaya nga head, kaya leader. Hindi naman tayo leading from behind. Though there are some paradigms that talk about leading from behind. Pero, I mean, seriously, especially in this time of the pandemic, when teachers don't know what to do, please be reachable and please be found. So, ibig sabihin, tinatry ka namang hanapin ng teacher. So, magpahanap ka naman. So, pero natatawa po ako doon sa problema na yun. Well, anyway, kasi minsan kahit walang pandemya may ganun. Well, anyway, next. From Van H. Luna, how can we make students help or share rather than compete? Kasi po, tila, build on competition po lahat. You know, competition in a way is good. Because di ba ang nangyayari, the reason why we're trying to make people compete is that we want to bring out the best in them. But the problem is, if that's always the paradigm, competing with each other, then na-diminish yung desire to be just doing the best. Kasi gusto mo nga to go ahead of this person. And that's not, parang hindi magandang ganun eh. Kaya nga ako, well, you need to balance what you reward. For example, posible yung merong competing with each other or with groups, pero okay din yung competing with yourself. Like, halimbawa, tatakbo. Sino yung mas mabilis ngayon? Halimbawa, hindi sino yung mas mabilis ngayon. Mas mabilis ba ako nitong trial 2 kaysa sa trial 1? So, pag mas mabilis ako, wow! So, nanalo ako nun. And so, we teach children to compete with themselves. So, that's very important. So, ibabalanse lang po natin. Pero kasi talaga noon, lalo na nung panahon na nagtuturo pa talaga ako sa basic ed, parang masyado ang kompetisyon. Sobra. At yung mga systemic kasi dahil grading system, ranking system, pati kung sino yung makaka-receive ng award. Kaya minsan, tinitingnan din natin yung mga iba't ibang klaseng awards, di ba? Alam niyo, sa sobrang init, nagfa-fog na yung glasses ko. Well, I hope you're not seeing it there. From Helen Acompañado, what is your stand on helicopter parents? Meaning, parents who come to give complaints almost all the time. Okay. Helicopter parents are not my favorite parents. Mainly because I did not grow up with one. Pero siguro, kung sanay ka na having a helicopter parent, maybe you would be answering differently. But I was parented by a mother who believed in empowerment. And so, she trusted the teacher. The teacher knew what she was doing. She would ask the teacher how I was. She would attend meetings when called. Pero hindi siya yung helicopter parent. Bakit? And maybe I'll tell you a sad story. Well, sad lang. At hindi na, and maybe I will expand the definition of helicopter parent. Not just the parent who complains all the time, but the parent who is there all the time. Oo, kasi part lang yun na minsan nagko-complain siya. Pero hindi naman siya laging nagko-complain, basta lagi lang siyang nandyan. You know, I remember, raising kids. Well, hindi naman raising, maybe that's not the right term to use, you know. I would be able to share with you different types of children. So, there were two types of children. One for whom parents tutored, halimbawa, from time to time, pero really allowed the child to study on her own. Yun talaga, pinaaral, yung nahihirapan yung bata, pero talagang intentionally, yung parent, sinasadya talaga niya, no, you try it on your own. Try it first on your own. Tapos later on, tutulong. As against, meron din naman isang bata, andyan talaga si mommy, ginagawan pa ng sample test, laging dyan tinututor, tapos meron pa siyang mga cue cards na sangkaterba. So, back in the elementary grades, sa grade school, hulaan nyo kung sino yung mataas ang grade. Mataas ang grade ni, yung anak ng helicopter parent. Mataas talaga ang grade niya. Tapos itong isa naman na ang parent ay hindi helicopter, pero naniniwala na, no, you use this time to study, you try it on your own first. Ay, nako, ang kanyang grade ay minsan-minsan nagiging palakol. But the funny thing is, in life, you know what happened? When they became adults, the helicopter children didn't do as much, didn't do as well as the one who had the empowered parent, or the parent who empowered the child. Because the child learned the strategies on how to do things by herself. natuto siyang dumiskarte ng kanya. Samantalang yung isang bata, yung nanay ang dumidiskarte. Yung nanay ang nakikipag-away, yung nanay ang nagdidiskarte kung paano magre-review. Laging ganon. Kaya, pag-isipan. So, that's my answer to Miss Helen. And that's my stand regarding helicopter parents. I am not for having one. I'm more for having parents who are realistic, who would hone their child's skills by letting their child fail at times, if only to learn the strategies on how to stand up and walk. Now, from Cheller Amrinto to Marao, if the teacher is also the parent, is it fair to teach his child inside the classroom? Ang hirap nun, ano? But I know that some of you, probably because of the size of the school, there are schools that there's only one section. And there's no choice but to have your mother as your teacher. Or your father as your teacher. And if it's in a big school, then arrange for your child to be taught by someone else. Put the child in another section. But if it's just a one section per grade level school, then you just have to remind yourself each and every time not to favor your child more than you do other children. So it will be a constant checking of yourself, that you're paying close attention to all children and not just your child. Then definitely, it will appear that, syempre nga naman, merong parang unfair advantage. Nanay mo ba naman yung teacher mo? Tatay mo ba naman yung teacher mo? Pero, I mean, seriously, you need to check yourself. Pero yun na nga, sinasabi ko, may mga instances hindi talaga maiiwasan. Dahil may mga eskwelahan na isa lang ang section bawat grade level. Meron din ako mga kilala na nagtuturo sila sa school, iniiwasan nila yung anak nila. So, kapag yung anak nila, let's say, grade 1 teacher siya, pero yung anak niya mag-grade 1, nagre-request ng ibang assignment. And some schools allow it, some don't. And so, again, babalik ulit sa puso na ng teacher na parent din siya. At yung sa kanyang sense of fairness and sense of what is right. So, parang wala na po ata tayong mga questions. Oo, yun lang ang questions natin for today. So, remember, inclusive environments are good breeding ground for active citizenship. So, yun lang po. Maraming salamat. And I hope you really have a good week. So, yun lang po. Bye-bye.